The blue-scaled alien mother clutched her injured child against her chest. Her large silver eyes pleaded with the human woman standing before them. The universal translator on her wrist crackled with static as she spoke. "Save my daughter, and I'll give you anything." The alien mother begged Samantha Miller had never expected to become the hero of an alien species when she signed up as a medical officer on the cargo vessel Starlight Voyager. She was simply a nurse from Iowa with steady hands and a kind heart, who wanted to see the stars. Ever since childhood, she had gazed up at the night sky wondering what worlds existed beyond her small hometown. The Starlight Voyager was not a prestigious ship. It was a rugged transport vessel that carried supplies to human colonies scattered across 3 star systems. The crew numbered 37 individuals from various corners of Earth. Samantha had joined them 6 months ago after completing her advanced medical training. She was the junior medical officer, working under Dr. Olivia Kent, who had taken her under her wing. They had been making a routine supply run to the human colony on Proxima Centauri when the communication system blared to life. A distress signal cut through the usual static of deep space. The captain, a stern woman named Linda Reeves, ordered them to investigate. "All hands prepare for potential rescue operation," Captain Reeves announced over the intercom. "Medical staff report to Bay 3. We have encountered a damaged vessel of Zerelian origin with life signs aboard." Samantha felt her heart rate quicken. The Zerelians were a relatively new contact for humanity. Their species had only made formal diplomatic connections with Earth 5 years ago. Relations remained cautious but cordial. Most humans had only seen Zerelians in news broadcasts. They were a private species, protective of their culture and technology. "Have you ever treated a Zerelian?" Dr. Kent asked as they hurried toward the medical bay. "Only in simulations," Samantha admitted. "Their physiology is so different." "Well, today might be your graduation to real xenomedicine," Dr. Kent said with a grim smile. "Remember your training. Focus on universal medical principles and be adaptable." The Zerelian ship was small, a merchant vessel according to the scans. It had suffered severe damage to its propulsion and life support systems. Captain Reeves decided to bring the survivors aboard while engineers assessed whether repairs were possible. Samantha stood nervously in the docking bay as the airlock cycled. The doors slid open, revealing 2 figures. The taller one was clearly an adult, Zerelian, with iridescent blue scales, covering her humanoid form. She had 4 arms and moved with a fluid grace despite obvious distress. In her upper arms, she carried a smaller form, a child whose scales seemed dull and lifeless compared to her mother's. Dr. Kent stepped forward with a medical scanner. "Welcome aboard the Starlight Voyager. I'm the chief medical officer." The adult Zerelian's silver eyes darted around the bay before settling on the doctor. "My daughter is injured. The attack damaged our medical supplies. I beg for your assistance." "Attack?" Captain Reeves asked sharply. "Who attacked you?" "Pirates. They called themselves the Orion Collective. They took our cargo and fired upon us as they fled." The mother's voice was musical even through the translator's electronic filter. "Please, my child needs help." Dr. Kent ran her scanner over the small form. "We need to get her to medical immediately." She turned to lead the way, then stumbled as the ship lurched. Suddenly, Captain Reeves grabbed her communication device. "Bridge report, Captain. We've detected another vessel approaching. Fast energy signatures match known pirate configurations. They must have tracked the Zerelian ship." The captain's expression hardened. "Battle stations prepare for evasive maneuvers." She looked at the medical team. "Get them below and treat that child. We may be in for a rough ride." As alarms blared throughout the ship, Samantha helped guide the alien mother toward the elevator. The Zerelian moved with surprising speed despite her burden. Just as they reached the elevator, the ship rocked violently from an impact. Dr. Kent was thrown against a bulkhead with a sickening crack. Her body slumped to the floor, unconscious, blood seeping from a head wound. "Olivia," Samantha cried out. She knelt beside her mentor, checking vital signs. "She's alive but needs immediate care." She looked up at the captain, torn between her duty to her colleague and the injured alien child. Captain Reeves made the decision. Take care of the aliens. Kent's injury can wait. The security team will bring her down once we've evaded these pirates. Another impact rocked the ship. Go now. Samantha swallowed hard and nodded. She guided the Zarelian mother into the elevator, her mind racing with protocols and procedures she had only practiced in simulations. Now she would have to save an alien child without her mentor's guidance. The medical bay was empty when they arrived. The rest of the medical staff had been dispatched to prepare emergency stations throughout the ship in case of casualties. Samantha was on her own. Place her here, she instructed, pointing to the main bio bed. What's your name? I am Vila, the mother replied. My daughter is Mira. We are merchants from the Central Worlds. Samantha activated the scanning equipment, hoping it could be calibrated for Zarelian physiology. I'm Samantha. What happened to Mira? During the attack, she was thrown against a damaged console. Vila explained, her four hands moving in agitated patterns. The impact ruptured her secondary circulation sac. It contains nutrients our bodies require. Samantha studied the readout, struggling to interpret the alien biology. Little Mira had delicate blue scales that now appeared dull and lifeless. Her breathing was shallow, and a strange purple fluid leaked from a wound on her side. Samantha had studied xenobiology, but Zarelians were still largely a mystery to human medicine. Our biology is different from yours. I do not know if you can help, Vila said, her voice trembling. But the wound grows worse, and our healer was not on this journey. The ship rocked again from another impact. The lights flickered momentarily. Samantha took a deep breath, pushing aside her fear. I need to understand Zarelian physiology better. Can you tell me about your circulatory system? What is this purple fluid? Over the next hour, as the ship executed evasive maneuvers, Vila explained their dual circulatory system. The purple fluid was their version of blood, but it carried nutrients rather than oxygen. Oxygen was processed through specialized scales that absorbed it directly from the atmosphere. The wound has damaged her nutrient sac, Samantha explained after completing her scans. I can synthesize a replacement fluid, but I need to close the tear. Vila's silver eyes widened. You can do this. I can try, Samantha said, but I need your help. Our species are different, but healing sometimes speaks its own language. She set to work using the ship's medical synthesizer to create a fluid similar to the purple substance. The ship's database contained basic Zarelian medical information shared during the initial diplomatic exchanges. It wasn't comprehensive, but it was enough for Samantha to work with. Another violent impact sent equipment crashing to the floor. Captain, what's our status? Samantha called into her communicator. We've taken damage to the starboard engine. They're trying to disable us. Stay put and continue treatment. We're going to attempt to lose them in the asteroid field. Samantha steadied herself. The lives of both Dr. Kent and little Mira now depended on her skills. She had to focus despite the chaos around them. She turned back to her patient, determined to save this child regardless of species. The scales must be aligned precisely, Vila instructed as Samantha prepared to seal the wound. They channel energy through the body. Samantha nodded, wiping sweat from her brow, like nerve pathways in humans. With trembling hands, she began the delicate procedure to repair the torn nutrient sac. Vila assisted, providing crucial insights about her daughter's anatomy. The ship continued to shake and lurch as the captain executed evasive maneuvers, but Samantha remained focused on her task. This was far beyond her training, but something inside her refused to give up. She would save this child. She had to. Hours passed as Samantha worked tirelessly to save the young Zarelian. The ship had managed to evade the pirate vessel by hiding in an asteroid field, but the damage was substantial. Engineering teams worked frantically to restore full power while security officers assisted the wounded. Samantha had not left Mira's side. The delicate operation required constant attention as she sealed the torn nutrient sac and restored proper flow of the purple fluid. Vila remained nearby, providing crucial information about her daughter's biology. The nutrient balance must be precise, Vila explained. Too much stimulates growth, too little causes shutdown. Samantha nodded, adjusting the synthesizer settings. Like hormones in humans. We have similar concerns with certain treatments. A security officer appeared at the doorway. Nurse. Miller, Dr. Kent has been stabilized but remains unconscious. Captain wants a status report. Tell her I'm still working. Samantha replied without looking up. The child is stable but critical. I need more time. As the officer left, Vila made a soft, trilling sound. You risk much to help strangers during an attack. Many would prioritize their own kind. Samantha carefully aligned another scale over the wound site. That's not how medicine works, at least not for me. Every life deserves care. Your people have strange values. Vila observed. On our world, family bonds override all else. I would sacrifice any stranger to save my daughter. Yet you trusted a stranger to save her, Samantha pointed out. Vila's silver eyes blinked slowly. I had no choice, but I watch you. Work with such care, such focus. You treat her as if she were your own kind. In some ways, we're not so different. Samantha said, we both need nutrients. We both feel pain. We both love our families. The conversation was interrupted as Captain Reeves entered the medical bay. Her uniform was torn and soot marked her face. How's the patient? Stabilizing, Samantha answered. I've managed to seal the primary wound and restore nutrient flow, but she'll need continued monitoring. How's Dr. Kent? Still unconscious, but stable. The medical team says she has a severe concussion. The captain's expression was grim. We've lost 2 crew members. Engineering took a direct hit. Samantha felt a pang of grief but forced herself to maintain focus. I'm sorry to hear that. What about the pirates? We've lost them for now. We're hiding in the asteroid field while we complete essential repairs. Captain Reeves turned to Vila. We need to know more about these pirates. They seemed very interested in your ship. What exactly were you carrying? Vila's scales rippled, a reaction Samantha couldn't interpret. Standard trade. Goods, textiles, spices, medicinal herbs. The captain's eyes narrowed. Pirates don't usually risk attacking vessels for spices, especially not so close to a human colony. Something doesn't add up. My daughter needs rest, Vila said, avoiding the captain's gaze. The human healer has worked miracles, but Mira requires quiet. Captain Reeves seemed about to press further, but Samantha intervened. She's right, Captain. The child's condition is still delicate. I need to monitor her closely. With a resigned nod, the captain departed. Keep me updated, we'll talk more later. When they were alone again, Samantha noticed Vila's posture had changed. The alien woman seemed tense, her scales shifting colors slightly. You did not tell your leader the truth about your cargo, did you? Vila's forehands made complex gestures. You are perceptive for a human. I'm trained to notice physical responses to stress. Samantha continued, monitoring Mira's vital signs. Whatever, you're carrying, it's your business. But if it puts my ship and crew in danger, that makes it our business too. After a long pause, Vila spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. We carry crystalline data cores from our world to the diplomatic outpost, near your colony. They contain historical and cultural information. Our council recently voted to share more of our knowledge with humans as a gesture of trust. Her scales darkened. If the pirates access this data, they could learn much about our defenses, our weaknesses. That explains their persistence. Samantha said, information can be more valuable than gold, especially about a secretive species like yours. The cores are encoded. Only Xerelian technology can read them, but given time and resources, others might break the encryption. Vila stroked her daughter's face gently. I was trusted with this mission because my family has served as cultural ambassadors for generations. My daughter accompanies me to learn our ways. I have failed in my duty. Samantha checked the nutrient levels in Mira's system. You haven't failed. The data hasn't been stolen. Your daughter is recovering and will get you to your destination. You cannot promise this. Your ship is damaged. We are being hunted. Humans can be surprisingly resourceful. Samantha smiled, especially when protecting others. A soft chime from the biobed indicated a change in Mira's condition. Samantha quickly checked the readings. Her vital signs are improving. The nutrient flow has stabilized. She adjusted several settings. I think she might wake soon. Vila made that trilling sound again, which Samantha now recognized as an expression of joy. Her scales brightened, becoming more iridescent. You have done what I thought impossible. Not impossible, just complicated. Samantha began cleaning up the medical supplies. Your daughter is strong. Her body responded well to treatment. As if hearing her words, Mira's eyes fluttered open, silver like her mother's, but with flecks of purple around the edges. The young Zarelian made a soft chirping sound. Vila responded with similar sounds, their translator temporarily forgotten in the emotional moment. She cradled her daughter with all four arms rocking gently. Samantha stepped back, giving them space. This was the moment that made all her training worthwhile. The reunion of family, the triumph of healing. It transcended species and worlds. After several minutes, Vila activated her translator again. My daughter wishes to thank the human who saved her life. Samantha moved, closer, smiling at the young Zarelian. Hello, Mira, I'm Samantha. I'm very glad to see you awake. The child's translator voice sounded higher-pitched, more melodic. Your hands are different only two. But they fixed me. Mother said you made new purple. For me? I did. Samantha nodded. Your body needed more nutrient fluid, so I helped make some. Mira's scales rippled in patterns of light. On our world, only family would do such things for a child. Are you family now? Before Samantha could answer, the ship's alarm system blared to life. Captain Reeves's voice came over the intercom. All hands battle stations. The pirate vessel has returned with reinforcements. Engineering, prepare for emergency jump. Medical, secure all patients. Samantha quickly activated the biobed's security restraints. Vila, help me secure Mira. We may experience severe gravitational shifts. The Zarelian mother moved with urgent precision, helping to strap her daughter safely to the bed. Just as they finished security, Officer Patel rushed into the medical bay. Nurse Miller. We need to move the Zarelians to the secure holding area. Captain's orders. My patient can't be moved. Samantha protested. She's just regained consciousness and the nutrient flow is still stabilizing. Those pirates are after them specifically, Patel insisted. We can't risk having them in an exposed area like the medical bay. Vila stepped forward. Her scales now a dark blue. I will go to this secure area, but my daughter stays with the healer. I will not risk her life again. Patel looked uncertain. Captain won't like this. Tell the captain I take full medical responsibility. Samantha said firmly. The child cannot be moved without risk. Dr. Kent would make the same call. After a moment's hesitation, the security officer nodded. Fine, but I'm posting guards outside this bay. No one enters without clearance. He turned to Vila, ma'am, you need to come with me now. Vila looked torn, her silver eyes darting between her daughter and the officer. Go, Samantha said gently. Mira will be safe with me. I promise I'll protect her as if she were my own. The Zarelian mother approached the biobed and placed something around her daughter's neck, a small crystal pendant that glowed with inner light. This connects us, little one. No matter where I am, I will feel your life force through this bond. She touched her forehead to her daughter's, then straightened, turning to Samantha. If anything happens to me, the crystal will guide her home. Nothing will happen to either of you, Samantha assured her. We'll get through this. As Vila left with the security officer, Mira's small voice called out, Mother, will the pirates hurt you? No, little light, Vila replied, her voice strong and clear. The humans will protect us, and I will return soon. When they were gone, Samantha checked Mira's vital signs again. They remained stable despite the stress. The young Zarelian watched her with curious silver eyes. Your mother is very brave, Samantha said as she adjusted the nutrient flow. She is a guardian of knowledge, Mira replied with obvious pride. Our family has carried the stories between worlds for 7 generations. I will be a guardian too someday. What kind of knowledge do you carry? Mira's scales shimmered. Stories of our beginning, our journeys among the stars, our meetings with other peoples. We remember everything, so we do not repeat mistakes. The ship suddenly lurched violently. Samantha grabbed the edge of the biobed to steady herself. The lights flickered and emergency systems activated, bathing the medical bay in red light. The ship rocked violently as another impact struck the hull. Warning klaxons blared throughout the vessel. Samantha held onto the biobed, maintaining her balance while checking that Mira remained secure. "We're under attack," she explained to the frightened Zarelian child. "But the ship's defenses are strong. Try not to worry." Mira's scales had paled to a lighter blue. "The bad ones are back. They want Mother's crystals. Your mother is in a secure location. They won't find her," Samantha tried. To sound confident despite her own fears, she needed to keep Mira calm. Stress could disrupt the healing process. The intercom crackled to life. "All hands prepare for emergency jump drive. Charging at 60%, medical bay, secure all equipment." "And patience." Samantha moved quickly, securing loose items and checking that all systems were properly anchored. An emergency jump with damaged engines was risky, but staying to fight multiple pirate vessels would be even more dangerous. "What is jump?" Mira asked, her silver eyes wide. "It's how our ship moves very fast through space," Samantha explained as she worked. "Like swimming through a hidden current. We'll be far away from the pirates soon." The door to the medical bay slid open, and 2 security officers entered with weapons drawn. "Nurse Miller, we have intruders aboard. Captain ordered us to secure this location." Samantha felt her heart rate spike. "Intruders? How?" "They managed to dock on the engineering level during the attack. Breached. The hull security teams are engaging, but the captain wants all critical areas protected." The officer positioned himself near the door, while his partner moved to the far side of the room. "No one enters without proper authorization." Mira's small hand reached for Samantha's. "Are the bad ones coming here?" "No, sweetie." Samantha squeezed the child's hand gently, surprised at how similar it felt despite the scales. "These officers will keep us safe." The ship shuddered again, more violently than before. The lights went out completely for several seconds before emergency power restored minimal illumination. "Engineering reports severe damage to the jump drive," the security officer reported after checking his communicator. "Jump has been aborted. We're attempting to reach the colony through conventional propulsion." Samantha checked Mira's vital signs. The disruption had affected some of the medical equipment, but the biobed remained operational. The nutrient flow continued steadily. "How far are we from the colony?" she asked. "About 6 hours at current speed, but with pirates on our tail." The officer didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Samantha considered their options. "We should move Mira to a more secure location. This medical bay is too exposed." "Agreed." The officer nodded. "There's a secure room adjacent to the captain's quarters. We can set up emergency medical equipment there." Before they could implement this plan, the ship rocked with the most violent impact. Yet, Samantha was thrown against a cabinet while one of the officers fell to the floor. The lights failed completely. When emergency power returned moments later, Samantha scrambled to check on Mira. The child was secure on the biobed, frightened but physically unharmed. Status report. She called to the security officers. There was no response. She turned to find both officers unconscious on the floor. One had a severe head wound. The other appeared to have been struck by falling equipment. "Help is coming," she told Mira, trying to hide her growing fear. "We just need to stay calm." The intercom system crackled with static before Captain Reeves's voice came through. "All hands, intruders have reached Deck 3. Security teams converge. Civilian personnel lockdown procedures. Deck 3. That was their current location. Samantha felt panic rising but forced it down. She couldn't afford to lose control. Not with Mira depending on her. She moved to the medical cabinet and retrieved an emergency kit. Then she checked the 2 security officers. The one with the head wound needed immediate attention. She quickly applied pressure bandages. The other was beginning to regain consciousness. "Officer, can you hear me?" she asked. He groaned, struggling to focus. "What happened?" Impact knocked you out. Intruders on this deck. We need to secure this room. The officer reached for his weapon, which had fallen nearby. Help me up. Samantha assisted him to his feet. He was unsteady but determined. Block that door, he ordered, pointing to a storage cabinet. I'll cover the entrance. Together they pushed the heavy cabinet in front of the secondary door. Then Samantha returned to Mira. We might need to move quickly. Can you stand? The young Xerelian nodded. My side hurts, but I can move. Mother would want me to be brave. You're already being very brave. Samantha began disconnecting the portable nutrient pump from the main system. We may need to take this with us. The sound of weapons fire echoed from somewhere down the corridor. The conscious security officer positioned himself beside the main door. His weapon ready. Nurse Miller, be prepared to evacuate the patient, he said, his voice tense. If I give the order, take her through the maintenance tunnel behind that panel. He indicated a section of wall with emergency markings. It leads to the crew quarters. Samantha nodded, gathering essential supplies into a medical bag. She attached the portable nutrient pump to Mira's side, securing it with medical tape. The weapons fire grew closer. Voices could be heard shouting orders. Samantha couldn't tell if they belonged to the crew or the intruders. Suddenly, the main door control panel sparked. Samantha jumped back as the panel exploded in. A shower of sparks. They're trying to override the door. The officer warned, get ready to move. Samantha helped Mira sit up. The child winced, but remained silent. Her silver eyes fixed on the door. The crystal pendant around her neck pulsed with light. My mother, Mira whispered. She's afraid. Before Samantha could respond, the door slid partially open. A mechanical device had been forced into the gap, slowly pushing the heavy door aside. The security officer fired at the opening, forcing whoever was outside to retreat temporarily. Go now, he shouted. I'll hold them off. Samantha hesitated, unwilling to leave the wounded officer behind. That's an order, he insisted. The child is priority. Get her out, making a swift decision. Samantha lifted Mira into her arms. The young Xerelian was surprisingly light. Her scales felt smooth against Samantha's skin. She carried the child to the maintenance panel, pulling the emergency release. The panel slid aside, revealing a narrow passageway lit by dim emergency lights. Hold tight to me, she instructed Mira, and try to stay quiet. As they entered the tunnel, Samantha heard the main door forced completely open, followed by weapons fire and shouting. She pulled the panel closed behind them, plunging them into semi-darkness. The maintenance tunnel was cramped, forcing Samantha to crouch as she carried Mira. The nutrient pump hummed quietly at the child's side. Samantha moved as quickly as she could, following the emergency guidance lights embedded in the floor. Where are we going? Mira whispered. Somewhere safe, Samantha replied, though she wasn't entirely sure where that might be. We need to find your mother. I can feel her. Mira touched the crystal pendant. She's moving. The crystal pulls toward her. Samantha paused, considering this information. Can you tell which direction? Mira extended her hand, holding the crystal. The pendant swung slightly before pointing down a side passage. This way. The crystal always finds family. With no better option, Samantha followed the child's guidance. The maintenance tunnels formed a complex network throughout the ship. She had studied the emergency evacuation routes during her orientation, but had never actually navigated them. After what seemed like an eternity of crawling through narrow passages, they reached another access panel. Samantha listened carefully but heard no sounds from the other side. What's beyond this panel? She whispered to Mira. The child closed her eyes, concentrating. Mother is near, but others too, not family, not crew. Her scales rippled with anxiety. The bad ones. Samantha considered their options. They couldn't remain in the maintenance tunnel indefinitely. But emerging into a situation with hostile intruders was extremely dangerous. Before she could decide what to do, her communicator vibrated silently. She had set it to emergency mode. She checked the message. All medical personnel deck. 5 emergency protocol Omega Captain Reeves deck. 5 was 2 levels down. It contained the auxiliary control center where the captain would establish command if the bridge was compromised. "We need to go down," Samantha whispered to Mira. "Can you show me a path that avoids the bad ones?" Mira nodded, holding the crystal before her. The pendant swung in a circular motion before settling on a direction. "This way, but not toward Mother." "We'll find your mother." "Soon, I promise," Samantha assured her. "But first we need to reach my captain. She'll help us." They continued through the maintenance network, following junction markers toward Deck 5. The ship periodically shuddered, suggesting the battle outside. Continued twice, they heard voices and movement beyond the walls, forcing them to wait in silence until the danger passed. Finally, they reached an access panel marked with the Deck 5 identifier. Samantha listened carefully before activating the emergency release. The panel slid open, revealing a dimly lit corridor. She emerged cautiously, still carrying Mira. 2 crew members appeared immediately, weapons drawn. Their expressions relaxed when they recognized Samantha, Nurse Miller. One stepped forward. "Captain was hoping you'd make it. We've established a secure area in auxiliary control." "The Zerelian ambassador?" Samantha asked. "Is she here?" "Yes, she arrived with Security Team Beta about 15 minutes ago." Captain Reeves gathered her remaining officers around the auxiliary command console. The holographic display showed the current status of the Starlight Voyager. Red sections indicated areas under pirate control. Yellow marked contested zones, while green showed the few secure areas remaining. "They're methodically taking over the ship." Security Chief Alvarez pointed to the display. "They've secured engineering the bridge and most of Deck 3. They're attempting to access our computer systems. But security protocols are holding for now." "What do they want?" asked Communications Officer Chen. "They haven't made any demands." All eyes turned to Vila, who stood nearby, still holding Mira in her arms. The Zerelian ambassador's scales had darkened to a deep blue. "They seek what I carry," Vila said, her musical voice somber. "Data crystals containing cultural and historical records of my people. But also," she hesitated, "technical specifications for our defensive systems." Captain Reeves's expression hardened. "You're carrying military intelligence, and you didn't think to mention this earlier. It is not weaponry." Vila's 4 hands made emphatic gestures. "It is knowledge about our worlds, our defenses, the location of our colonies. These pirates serve the Orion Collective, a criminal organization that has targeted isolated Zerelian settlements. They seek to exploit our resources. And now they've attacked my ship and endangered my crew to get to you." The captain's voice was cold. Samantha stepped forward. "Captain, with respect, we can assign blame. Later, right now, we need to focus on surviving and protecting everyone aboard." Reeves took a deep breath, nodding. "You're right, Miller. What's the status of the Zerelian child?" "Stable, but the nutrient pump needs to be recharged within the next 2 hours." Samantha checked the portable medical device attached to Mira's side. "We have limited medical supplies here." "The pirates are between us and the main medical bay," Chief Alvarez noted, "and they control the cargo holds where backup supplies would be stored." Vila's scales rippled with anxiety. "My daughter will die without proper nutrients." "No, she won't," Samantha said firmly. "We'll find a way. Perhaps there is a solution." Vila reached into her garment and withdrew a small crystal, similar to the pendant around Mira's neck, but larger and with a more complex structure. "This is one of the data crystals I carry. It contains medical knowledge, including Zerelian physiology. If we could access this information, your systems might synthesize what Mira needs." Captain Reeves looked skeptical. "Our computers can't read your crystal technology." "No, but I can interface with it," Vila explained. "I can translate the data if you provide a system connection." Chief Engineer Patel, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "We might be able to rig something through the auxiliary science station. The interface is adaptable for xenotech analysis." "Do it," the captain ordered. "But maintain security protocols. We can't risk the pirates accessing our systems through the crystal." As Engineer Patel and Vila moved to the science station, Captain Reeves pulled Samantha aside. How much danger is the child actually in? Significant. Samantha replied honestly. The nutrient solution I synthesized was a stopgap measure. Her system needs properly balanced compounds that match her physiology. Without them, organ failure will begin within hours. The captain nodded grimly. Then we have another problem to solve. The pirates control our escape pods and shuttles. We're essentially trapped here unless the colony vessels arrive in time. What are our options? We still control life support, Reeves said thoughtfully. We could attempt to incapacitate the intruders by adjusting atmospheric composition, but that would affect our people too. She ran a hand through her short hair. Or we could try to retake engineering, which would be a frontal assault with the few security personnel we have left. Before Samantha could respond, alarms blared from the communication console. Officer Chen rushed to check the system. Captain, they're breaking through our communication encryption. They'll have access to internal systems in minutes. Shut it down, Reeves ordered. All systems. If we do that, we lose life support and what little control we still have. The captain's face showed the impossible choice before her. We can't let them take control, but we can't survive without systems. Samantha looked over at Vila and Mira. The engineer had connected a makeshift interface between the science station and the Zerelian crystal. Vila's 4 hands moved in complex patterns over the crystal, causing it to glow with inner light. Mira watched her mother with silver eyes full of wonder. Despite her weakened condition, an idea formed in Samantha's mind. Captain, what if we give the pirates what they want? Reeves looked at her sharply. Explain. Not the real data crystals, Samantha clarified. A decoy. We know they want the Zerelian information we could offer to exchange it for control of the ship and safe passage. We have nothing to offer as a convincing decoy. The captain pointed out. Yes, we do. Samantha moved to the science station. Vila, the pirates, they've never actually seen your data crystals up close, have they? The Zerelian ambassador considered this. No, they attacked before direct contact. Most species cannot tell the difference between various types of our crystals. Each appears similar, though they serve different functions. So we could use a different crystal as a decoy. Something that looks similar but doesn't contain sensitive information. Vila's scales shifted color thoughtfully. The navigation crystal in our vessel. It has similar properties visually, but contains only basic stellar cartography. Nothing of strategic value. And it would be believable that I would carry it. Captain Reeves caught on to the plan. We offer to trade the crystal for control of the ship and medical bay. They think they're getting military intelligence, but it's just star maps. Even basic stellar cartography of Zerelian space would be valuable to pirates, Vila noted, but not dangerously so. It would not lead them to vulnerable colonies or defense installations. How? Do we make contact? Asked Chief Alvarez. They control communications. We still have emergency channels. Officer Chen suggested. Short range only, but enough to reach the bridge. And how do we ensure they don't just take the crystal and kill us all? Engineer Patel asked the question everyone was thinking. Samantha looked at the medical equipment she'd brought from the bay. We could rig a false container. Something that would appear to hold the crystal but would release a sedative gas if opened incorrectly. Only we would know the proper sequence. Engineer Patel nodded approvingly. I can modify one of our sample containment units. It would be convincing. It's risky, Captain Reeves said, but I don't see many alternatives. The colony vessels are still hours away, and the child needs medical attention. She made her decision. Make it happen. We offer the exchange, but we prepare for the worst. Chief Alvarez, arm everyone capable of fighting. We may need to take back the ship by force if this fails. As the crew moved to implement the plan, Samantha returned to check on Mira. The young Zerelian's condition had deteriorated. Her scales were dull, and her breathing had become labored. The nutrient pump is failing. Samantha told Vila, we need to get her to medical soon. Vila completed her interface with the science station. I have transferred basic Zerelian medical data. Your system now has information to synthesize proper nutrients, but we still need access to medical equipment. Then our plan has to work. Samantha said simply, Engineer Patel approached with a small containment unit. I've modified this to hold the navigation crystal. It looks official enough to fool someone unfamiliar with our technology. He demonstrated a complex opening sequence. If they don't follow exactly these steps, it will release a sedative gas enough to incapacitate anyone within 3 meters. Vila retrieved the navigation crystal from a hidden pocket in her garment. It was slightly smaller than the data crystals, but similar in appearance with the same iridescent glow. Will they believe this is what they seek? Captain Reeves asked, examining the crystal. To untrained eyes, yes, Vila confirmed, and they will sense the energy signature. All our crystals emanate similar patterns. It is the internal structure that differs, Officer Chen called from the communications station. Captain, I've established emergency contact with the bridge. They're responding. Captain Reeves straightened her uniform and moved to the console. This is Captain Linda Reeves. Who am I addressing? A harsh voice replied through the speaker. Captain Dravak of the Orion Collective. You're in a poor position to make demands, Reeves. I'm not making demands. I'm offering a solution beneficial to us both. Reeves kept her voice steady. We have what you want. The Xerelian data crystal. We're prepared to exchange it for control of our medical bay and safe passage for my injured crew. There was a pause before Dravak responded. How do I know you have the real crystal? Vila stepped forward. This is Ambassador Vila of the Xerelian Diplomatic Corps. The crystal you seek is in my possession. I will surrender it in exchange for medical treatment for my daughter and safe passage for this human vessel. Another longer pause. Prove you have the crystal. Activate it so our sensors can detect the energy signature. Vila held up the navigation crystal and passed her hands over it in a specific pattern. The crystal glowed brightly. Energy patterns shifting within. Engineer. Patel checked the science station. They should be able to detect that they're scanning us now. Samantha and Vila moved through the dimly lit corridors of the damaged ship. The Xerelian ambassador carried the modified containment unit with the navigation crystal inside, while Samantha brought a small medical kit officially to monitor Mira's vital signs remotely, but also containing emergency sedatives hidden from sensors. Your species continues to surprise me, Vila said as they approached a security checkpoint where pirate guards waited. You risk your life for strangers. Not strangers, Samantha corrected. Patients, people who need help. That transcends species. The pirate guards scanned them for weapons before escorting them toward the bridge. Samantha noted their appearances carefully. Most appeared to be human or near human with various cybernetic enhancements. Their weapons were military grade, suggesting these weren't ordinary pirates. The bridge of the Starlight Voyager was almost unrecognizable. Systems had been modified with external technology. Crew members sat bound at their stations under guard. The view screen showed the pirate vessels surrounding them, sleek predatory ships designed for speed and combat. At the captain's station stood a tall figure with pale gray skin and cybernetic implants along his jawline, Captain Dravak of the Orion Collective. His eyes gleamed with an unnatural red light suggesting optical enhancements. The Xerelian ambassador and a human nurse. He said, his voice the same harsh tone they'd heard over the communication system. An unusual diplomatic pair. I am here as agreed. Vila's scales had shifted to a neutral blue, masking her emotions. The crystal in exchange for medical access and safe passage. Dravak gestured to one of his officers. Scan the container. A pirate approached, with a handheld device passing it over the modified containment unit. Energy signature consistent with Xerelian data storage. Sir, security measures detected in the container itself. Of course, Vila said smoothly. The crystal contains sensitive, cultural information. It must be protected. Standard diplomatic procedure. Dravak's augmented eyes narrowed. Open it. The container requires specific handling. Vila explained, demonstrating the opening sequence Engineer Patel had designed. Otherwise, the crystal could be damaged. Security measures are embedded within. The pirate captain watched closely as Vila manipulated the container following the safe sequence. The lid opened, revealing the navigation crystal glowing with iridescent light. Magnificent, Dravak murmured. The accumulated knowledge of a secretive species, all their weaknesses, their defenses, the locations of their hidden worlds. He reached toward it, then stopped. But first, your safe passage. Nurse, what do you require? Access to the medical bay, Samantha said, keeping her voice steady. The ambassador's daughter needs immediate treatment. Her condition is critical. Dravak tapped a control on his wrist. The medical bay is now accessible. My men have orders not to interfere. He turned back to the crystal. Now complete our transaction, Ambassador. Vila hesitated. You will allow the Starlight Voyager to proceed to the human colony. Once we have confirmed the crystal's contents, yes. Dravak smiled, revealing metal-enhanced teeth. We have no quarrel with this vessel. Our interest was always in Xerelian secrets. Samantha noticed something in his phrasing. You said confirm the contents. How do you plan to do that? You don't have Xerelian technology to read the crystal. Dravak's smile widened. Ah, but we do. He gestured to a guard who brought forward a device of clearly Xerelian design, salvaged from a diplomatic vessel, much like yours. Ambassador, 3 cycles ago, your people fought bravely, but ultimately they failed to protect their secrets. Vila's scales rippled with shock. The Callisto outpost, the diplomatic mission that disappeared. Precisely, Dravak confirmed. Your government assumed it was lost to a cosmic anomaly, but we simply made it disappear along. With all its valuable technology, Samantha realized their plan was unraveling. If Dravak could actually read the crystal, he would immediately discover the deception. She needed to act quickly. The child's vital signs are dropping, she announced, checking her medical device, which was actually monitoring Mira's condition remotely. Ambassador, we need to reach medical immediately. Vila understood the warning. Yes, of course. She began to close the containment unit. Take your prize, Captain Dravak. Must attend to my daughter. Stop. Dravak ordered. The crystal remains here. You may go to your child, nurse, but the ambassador stays until we verify the contents. This was exactly what they had feared. Samantha glanced at Vila, whose scales had darkened to an almost black blue. She was calculating something, her 4 hands moving in subtle patterns. Very well, Vila said after a moment, but handle the crystal with care. The information degrades if improperly accessed. She handed the container to Dravak, deliberately using the wrong sequence. Samantha tensed, preparing for what would happen next. Your concern is noted, Ambassador. Dravak took the container and turned to the Xerelian reader device. Now let's see what secrets you've been carrying. He opened the container, following the sequence he had observed. The crystal glowed brightly for a moment, then a barely visible mist emerged from the containment unit. Dravak frowned, noticing it too late. The sedative gas had already been released. What is this? He demanded, his voice slurring slightly. Now! Vila shouted. Samantha was already moving. She pulled emergency breathing filters from her medical kit, tossing one to Vila as the sedative gas spread across the bridge. Several pirates collapsed. Immediately, including Dravak, others struggled to reach their weapons. The bridge doors slid open as Chief Alvarez and his security team burst in. They had been monitoring remotely and moved the moment the gas deployed. Wearing breathing apparatus, they quickly subdued the remaining conscious pirates. Secure the bridge, Alvarez ordered. Engineering team, move in. Samantha helped Vila to a communication station. We need to reach medical. Mira doesn't have much time. Alvarez nodded. Medical team. Reports the bay is secure. Dr. Kent has regained consciousness. She's preparing for your arrival. They made their way to the medical bay, moving quickly through corridors now filled with crew members reclaiming the ship. The Starlight Voyager was damaged but returning to their control. When they reached medical, Samantha was relieved to see Dr. Kent directing operations. Despite a bandaged head, the chief medical officer was fully engaged. Nurse Miller, she called when she saw Samantha. Good timing, your patient needs you. Mira lay on the main bio bed, her condition clearly deteriorated. Her scales had dulled to an almost gray color, The nutrient pump had completely failed. Vila rushed to her daughter's side. "My little light. Hold on, the human healers will help you." Samantha quickly briefed Dr. Kent on the situation. "We need to synthesize Xerelian nutrients. The formula is in the computer." Vila transferred the data. Dr. Kent nodded, accessing the information. "I see it complex, but doable. The synthesizer is already working on the first batch, should be ready in minutes." As the medical team worked to stabilize Mira, Captain Reeves entered the bay. Her uniform was torn and a cut across her cheek suggested she had been in combat, but her expression was triumphant. "Engineering is secure," she reported. "The pirates are either captured or contained in the cargo hold. The colony vessels will be here within the hour." "And the data crystals?" Vila asked. "The real ones?" "Safe," the captain assured her. "Still in the secure location where we hid them. The navigation crystal served its purpose." The medical synthesizer chimed, indicating the completion of the nutrient formula. Samantha carefully loaded it into a new pump and attached it to Mira's side. "This should be exactly what her system needs," she explained to Vila. "Matched precisely to Xerelian physiology." They all watched anxiously as the purple fluid flowed into Mira's system. For several tense minutes, nothing seemed to change. Then gradually, almost imperceptibly, her scales began to brighten, returning to their natural blue hue. Her breathing deepened and steadied. "It's working," Dr. Kent confirmed, checking the readouts. "Her system is stabilizing." Vila made that trilling sound of joy, her 4 hands gently stroking her daughter's face. "You have saved her again." "We all did," Samantha said, looking around at the crew. "This is what humans do. We help each other, and we help anyone else who needs it regardless of species." 3 weeks later, the Starlight Voyager docked at the human colony on Proxima Centauri. The ship had undergone emergency repairs sufficient to complete their journey. The pirate leaders, including Captain Dravak, were in custody, awaiting transfer to Earth for trial. The Xerelian data crystals had been safely delivered to the diplomatic outpost. Samantha stood in the airlock preparing to say goodbye to Vila and Mira. The young Xerelian had made a complete recovery. Her scales now shimmered with vibrant health. She had spent the journey asking endless questions about human medicine, much to Samantha's delight. "Our paths separate here," Vila said. "We must continue to our homeworld to report what happened. The Council will want to know about the fate of the Callisto outpost and the stolen technology." "I understand." Samantha nodded. "Safe travels to both of you." Mira moved forward and took Samantha's hand in her smaller scaled one. "Will I see you again, human healer?" "I hope so," Samantha smiled. "The universe is vast, but somehow people who are meant to find each other usually do." Vila reached into her garment and removed a crystal pendant similar to the one Mira wore. "This is for you, Samantha Miller. It is a life crystal. In our culture, it signifies a bond that transcends distance. When one who carries it is in need, the other will know.